welcome back. I'm Tanya from Tanya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? I've watched my children for so many years to where the one has their driver's license and they are taking everybody to school. And okay, I can't say it for my oldest one. She was very prompt. She was very on time. She was not the one holding people back. I will say that. It's just a fact, okay? But everybody complains for some reason or other because somebody's slow. Now, in a way, it has to do with proper time management, but it also has to do with respect, because your time is just as valuable as my time. The driver's time was just as valuable as the elementary child's time. Okay? See where I'm going with this? Yes. So child number 2, she was the late one. I'm sorry, but she was. She was the one holding up the show. And it was really frustrating when they're all in the vehicle waiting and she's not ready yet and she's driving them to school. Okay, so it goes. And it's so funny because they forget when they're the one waiting, how frustrating it is and how upset they get because they can't leave on time. So now we're down to the last one, who relies on rides from either me or his father or one of his brothers, whoever's going to town, whoever can take him. However, so it's usually my oldest son who takes him certain days, and he's never on time. He's never up on time. And it's kind of like, this is crap. Your time is just as valuable as his time. He just wants to be to school a little early so he can chit chat, which they all did. They all wanted to be to school early so they could talk to their friends, and they wanted to be at school a little later so they could talk to their friends. But now that it's his turn and he's at that age, they don't want to do it. It's stupid. It's, oh, you don't need to do that, but yet it hasn't been that long ago when they were the ones in the situation where they wanted to hang out for 5 minutes after school and chit chat to their friends. His brother's never ready. It's always him waking up his brother, him telling his brother to get his ass moving. And it's like, who's the adult here? Come on. You know you're giving him a ride. You said you would. You agreed to this, so move. But it's interesting how when it's on the other foot, it's more important than when it's somebody else. And when it's family, they should be a priority, And I know we go round and round with this because my middle son doesn't always want to help with the animals. And my older son kind of dawdles. He's got other things to do at the same time. And so they get into this huge argument where if they would just set a time and say, okay, at 6 o'clock, this is when we're going to feed the bulls, put in bales, grain, whatever. That's how it is. You've gone through this stage of life, and why is it so hard for you not to respect that person who's going through that stage of life and doing the same thing you did? And it's not like it's anything wrong, right? I'm not talking about, getting into trouble and doing stuff wrong. That's wrong or illegal. Just, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of stupid in a way. But anyway, that was my chit chat for the day. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. But today we are doing bath salts. It is the season of bath salts. I don't sell very many bath salts from like March, and then it hits September and it just seems like boom, bath salt time. Seriously. But we'll talk all about that in the video. So 3 things: dream big, be true to you, you are worth it. And let's go check out this video on bath salts. Okay, and we are starting with our bath salts. This is my aloe and mint is what I called it. So first we start with, of course, our dendritic salt. This helps hold the fragrance oil into the bath solution. It also has other benefits, but mine is basically as a, holder for the fragrance oil, is to keep it, kind of like people do with kale and clay in cold processed soap. Okay, and to this I am adding my scent, which is a split between peppermint essential oil and a buttercream fragrance oil. And, always check your usage rates and always check your, can it be used for that product? You always want to be safe with those fragrance oils and essential oils. And I use both of my bath salts because they're both really delightful things. And the vanilla just gives it this extra little, it like softens the peppermint, if you want to say that. It doesn't dilute it, it just softens it. And you want to mix it up really well and let it set. Like that's the one you want to let it set for either 5 minutes or half hour. Some people let it set overnight. I think that's a little excessive. But to each their own. Next, of course, we are adding just Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate, I think. That is a good portion of, it's a little bit more than my sea salt average, if you want to say that. Just because, you want your bath salts to be very, there to do a purpose, right? Relax, soothe muscles, all those things. All that jazz. Okay, and then next comes my sea salt. It is a blend of coarse and a blend of fine sea salts. Not much else to say there. I'm just trying to get my ratio right in there. Now, what I didn't do was show you a fizzy bath salt recipe, which maybe down the road I will. I don't know if I have on this channel. That's a totally different thing. It's not just your salts, right? And next is the pink Himalayan salt. I love pink Himalayan salt. You could technically do a bath salt out of strictly Epsom salt or strictly Dead Sea salt or strictly Himalayan salt. But I do like that they have all these different properties to them and individual properties. So I like mixing them. That's my basic, I have it like a basic, boom, this is the basic salt recipe. And then of course you change it up with all your additives. So once you have the salts, you want to, mix them up and make sure you don't have any big clumps in there or anything like that. And then I add my dendritic salt. I don't even know if that's how you say it, you guys. With my fragrance oil, and I'm very kind of specific about getting all my fragrance oil out of my containers. So that's just what you're seeing there. And then you want to mix that up really, really well also, just because you don't want clumps of the dendritic salt and the fragrance oil. You want that all incorporated really, really well. So I think it cuts down on your drying time, but that also depends on the salts and everything else too. And to this batch, I am adding colloidal oatmeal, and I am adding aloe vera leaf, which is ground very, 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 very fine. Like absolutely, did it as long as possible. Couldn't get the bag open, and there you go. Yeah. I had a lady at one of my vendor shows just this weekend who was super excited. She sells her own different, like it's a company, product. But they do a lot of stuff with aloe, and she said they used to do the bath salts, but they can't get some ingredient they used to put in them, which I thought was fascinating. But she was super excited to try the aloe vera bath salts. And once you have it very, very well incorporated, very, very well incorporated, that is when you will put them out on, you can put them out on a table, I guess, if it's super clean, but I always put mine on a lined cookie sheet and spread them out as thin as I can and let them dry overnight. It can take up to 2 days before they're totally dried. Now this is my pink sangria salts. I'm just showing you how I am layering them. They contain kaolin clay, rose clay, and calamine powder, as you can see in the strips of color. Like I said, you need to make sure that they are dry before you package them. And I truly believe the drying time really depends on what your additives are. Because don't forget, colloidal oatmeal will absorb the fragrance oil. Clays will absorb the fragrance oil. And you want to make sure they're totally, totally dry. If I add milks or flowers to this, I usually do it the second day. I really don't know why. I just it's always the second day. And here are my packaged bath salts when they are all done. And just remember that your time is just as important as everyone else's. So I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.